Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Minister J, and this is All Day with Minister J. You know, I was sitting and I was thinking, and we're coming up on the 4th of July. So, of course, we got us a little holiday weekend coming. It's pretty cool, get to many of us, take some time off, spending it with family and friends. Like I like to say, get fat and tell jokes and all that kind of stuff. And I really hope that you guys really enjoy this holiday weekend, because I know that, there's a lot of things that are going on in the world. And, of course, there's always those who are doing better than others. And, my experience isn't what your experience is. So, maybe yours is bad or maybe this person's is bad, But the main point is just that I really just hope that you enjoy this awesome holiday that's coming, where we celebrate our independence and our freedom. The day that we became a nation, the day that we, determined to break off from England and all that, I know there's a lot of, I just kind of being honest, and I'm not going to stay on this too long, but I know there's a lot of controversy in regards to things such as the way that our nation started, and should it be considered for one period of time or another period of time? Different groups of people who may have been or felt or who actually were oppressed or whatever the case might be, in another group that perhaps they another group that was doing the oppression and things of that nature, and I can understand that, and I can understand that because of that, there's some people who really don't necessarily, I guess we'll say, enjoy the celebration of this, during this time, and may not fully observe it. I can completely understand that, and I can truly respect that, because it makes sense. At least me putting myself outside of myself and really trying to see it from somebody else's perspective, But, for those who understand that a big part of, the reason that we celebrate and the reason that we separated in the first place, that it was so that we could have the right to have those differences in opinion. For those who get that and understand the value of that, I know that that's really what this time is about. That's really what this day is about, where we can go and we can, be grateful and thankful for the men and women, who fought to make sure that we were free. I'll say this real quick, because I think it's worth saying. We also celebrate Mexican independence, especially if you live in the South. At least there's a level of observance of it. And then, during the month of June, there's Juneteenth. Again, that's been celebrated in the South forever, all of my life, that's for sure, particularly in the state of Texas. It's been a holiday in Texas. My understanding is that was the first place it was a holiday, and then a couple other states adopted it and things of that nature. But nevertheless, the point is, I know that some people use those dates kind of in proxy, and they observe that as a day of freedom and that kind of thing. And again, I can kind of understand it. Do I agree with it? No, especially not fully, but I get the perspective. You know what I mean? But that's not what this is about, because what this is really about is understanding that we can be, and that we truly are, free from our oppression. One of the things that's recently come back to my mind, it was the story of, or the account, as it were, of the children of Israel, so the Israelites, and of course God's favor on them, his love for them, the fact that they were literally his people. Exodus 14:4, it says, "And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them, and I will get glory over Pharaoh and all his host, and the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord." And, if there's, I was going to say if there's one Bible story, this might be it, but there's definitely, probably this one and a handful of others, if you are even just a little bit older than I am, you definitely are familiar with a movie called The Ten Commandments, and a guy by the name of Charlton Heston and his impact playing the role of Moses and that kind of thing. But the point that I want to really make, and if you're younger, you may not be as familiar, though you may have seen a movie called The Prince of Egypt, which was definitely a slightly more contemporary retelling of that story and aspects of it, and had some great music on the soundtrack as well. Nevertheless, while the U.S., broke free and gained independence and celebrates that independence and freedom and the birthplace of the birth date of our nation, the birth of our nation, the thing I want to ask you today is, are you free? Are you truly free? Are you walking in your freedom? Because if I had to be honest with you, even I myself, if I had to be completely honest with you, I'm walking under a certain level of oppression. Oh, it's out there. I believe it to be temporary, but it's out there. Because the deal is that we're designed to walk in freedom. And it's not until you really take a look at your life that you begin to realize that there is an oppression that exists. There is an oppression that exists. There is a certain level of freedom that most of us don't fully know. I remember the movie, the original, Coming to America, and I forget who sings the song, but on the soundtrack, there's a song. I think it might be in one of the title credits, but it just says, "Oh, say, can you see?" I'm sorry. "Oh, say, can you see? I'm coming to America," and then the background kind of says the land of opportunity, and that's what a lot of people see America as, the land of opportunity, because it's freedom that affords us the opportunity to do the different things that we do. The Bible tells us, and I remember hearing a whole lot as I was a kid, if you don't work, you don't eat. I'm not necessarily trying to tell you that your job is something that you shouldn't be doing. I want to stress to you that unless you're rich or you got something else besides a quote unquote job bringing you money in, no, you need to be working. You know what I mean? Like I always say, I can't pay your bills, but the truth is so many of us are enslaved and oppressed by our jobs. Let's just, keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. Let's be really real for a minute. You hate going into your job, and you're bound to your job. And, I got to go in for this, and I got to go in for that, and I got to do this. And if I don't do this, then I'm not going to have no money. If I don't have no money, then my wife could be mad. My kids could be mad. If you're the wife, my husband could be mad because we need the second income, and the kids won't be able to do this, and I won't be able to do this with my hair. And if you're a single parent, especially if you're a single mother, but in general, if you're a single parent, you really don't have a whole lot of choices. Your best case scenario is a rich uncle And then that uncle, because some of us don't have a rich uncle, that rich uncle might be Uncle Sam. And then maybe you get some income tax, you know. I know today's episode is a little different. I'm in a little bit of a different place. But I knew I had to get on and I had to do an episode because the truth is that while we're celebrating this freedom, you know, the question is, what are you free from? Oh, I do believe that a lot of us, I mean, I don't know who hears this, right? Like, I don't know. You know, there's this is posted in like multiple platforms. So I don't know who hears this. This might be playing in somebody's helicopter or on their private jet, on your yacht, in your mansion. This could be played in the hood. You know, you could be riding your car. You could have your earpods in. I don't know. Let me tell you what I do know. I know that there's some people who feel more free than others. But I know on some level, most of us are not truly free. We're not. I heard Shaq say, or was it Charles Barkley? I think he was quoting Charles Barkley, or maybe Charles Barkley was quoting Shaq, and now I can't remember exactly how it was put. But basically, I think it was something along the lines of, I'm just one lawsuit away from being a regular person, a normal person, or from being broke or something like that. Now, most of us who are not super rich like they are, we're like, well, I'm just one bad quarter, right? I'm just, one layoff from being in that same place, and that's just how it is, and in a lot of ways, there's nothing wrong with that. When I say that, it's because, again, historically, America was a place, especially America. I got to really, because I can speak for America more so, right? Because I live here. But historically, it's like if I work hard and if, I stay committed and dedicated, I can probably work my job forever, especially if you go back, like I said, to when I was younger. Now, I get that that's changed nowadays, and supposedly the science, quote unquote, the experts and the pundits say it actually looks better if you have moved around on a job because it makes it look like you're more cultured and more well-traveled. You understand different aspects of, the business and professional world. I'm sure everybody has tried to be a part of or start some sort of business at some point. And it's 2023, so everybody and their mama has an album that's dropped, right? You play an instrument, or you sing, or you rap, or you might have done poetry, right, on an album. You might have. There's comedy albums, right? So, but my question is, are you truly free? As they would say in the church, and as this one song that I really love says, are you free indeed? Or do you just have, a measure of freedom? Freedom does not mean that you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. Even if you're working for it on a day-to-day basis, that's not what it means. That's not what it means. That's not what it means. Are you oppressed by demonic and evil spirits? Are you oppressed by your sin? Are there some other, perhaps natural forces that might be oppressing you? I'm here to tell you that you can break free. As I begin to wrap this up, last year, I got this word for this season that we're in. That word was the Jubilee and two chairs. And I know a lot of us, the way that we look at the Jubilee, the word Jubilee, we look at that as a word for celebration. Jubilee and the word jubilation, they're derivative of each other. And you might feel, quote unquote, jubilation. That just means that you're happy. You're in somewhat of a celebratory type of a mood. But what is not understood is why you would be in that celebratory type of a mood. And of course, if you think to your own situation, if somebody ever said, oh, you've got to, look at this, person with this jubilation. Nobody says that, but because really the word is somewhat archaic. But they're filled with jubilee, or a word that they would probably more so use at one point would be glee. I know I'm showing my age, but jubilee, the actual meaning of the word, its root, its etymology, it actually means ram's horn. And every 7 years, back in ancient Bible times, the Jews would blow the ram's horn on the 7th year, and it meant that all people who were enslaved on any level would be free. Why are you talking about this, Minister Jay? Because that's the time that we're in. Now, we are approaching the end of what you could call the year of Jubilee, or the Jubilee year, but we're still in it. And there's a lot of different things, in regards to, what happens in the Jubilee year and all these types of things. And I have a whole video where I talk about that on my YouTube. I may reference it somewhere around this, or I might possibly do an audio version of it. But suffice it to say, you're supposed to be free. You're supposed to be free. But the question is, free to do what? And my hope, my sincere prayer is that if you are free, if you get to the place to where you can experience the type of freedom that I'm talking about, it is my sincere prayer that you realize that your freedom in large part is to serve God and to praise Him and to give Him all the glory and all of the honor, and to live a life that's pleasing to Him. I could go some more, y'all. Maybe I'll part 2 this episode, but that's going to be all for now. Thanks for staying over. I know I went a little long. God bless you guys. Peace. Happy 4th, by the way. Peace.